The under-23s travelled to Darlington FC to speak with assistant manager Alan White about the academy structure at the club. He says it's essential for the Quakers to pick up players from the likes of Middlesbrough because they are supporters owned and don't have the resources other clubs have at their disposal.
For Darlington Football Club, it's essential really. The structure of the club is a supporters owned club. We don't have a chairman who's, pushing in millions and millions of pounds, or hundreds of thousands of pounds, or whatever it would be that we need to survive. So we've got to find ways of creating a revenue, and the academy is you get the revenue through getting the lads through the academy course. It's like government funded and that sort of thing. So you get so much per pupil. So that's great. It comes into us, but also there's that potential that we find one or two, really good players that we can develop, we can coach, we can progress into the first team that might be worth, moving on, might get into league football. And transfer fees and sell-on fees would come back to the club. So there's a number of different sort of aspects to it, but our main reason is it's a revenue, and it's a way of targeting local talent.
Alan set up Darlington's academy alongside manager Tommy Wright, which is now in its infant stages. He told us what they are hoping to achieve in the near future and how they currently compare to the likes of Middlesbrough and Hartlepool.
We're just in our infant stage, really. We've only just set it up this year. Myself and the manager, Tommy, we came in sort of a year and a bit ago. Part of our sort of job description was to get the academy set up. The club had never had one previously, so we've got that set up. This is the first year. It started small, obviously, because it's expensive to get the initial setup with coaches and everything. So we've been running it. Next year we'll be developing it, and it'll be growing, and we'll be doubling our numbers. So it'll be more money, be more lads, a couple of coaches involved. So we'll be sort of developing ourselves from a sort of a foundation level that we're at. We'll be developing more into elite level next year with the different age groups. So really, when you compare us to Middlesbrough and Hartlepool and teams like that, we're smaller, and we're sort of not up to that level yet. Certainly not that level in regards to numbers. And obviously, with them being the bigger clubs and the more attractive clubs, they get the pick of the more talented players, or the more elite players. But there is still a few that slip through the cracks, and the two lads that you're going to be talking to in a second, they're two really talented young kids who I think have got a real chance of making it as footballers. So there is a place for us here. We're never going to be able to compete with Middlesbrough and those sort of teams with their academy levels and their numbers. But I think what we've created and what we hope to progress into next year, I think, will be something that we can be proud of.
Finally, Alan told us how he's finding coaching the kids and how differently he treats them compared to the senior players.
You've got to watch what you say. You can't swear as much. It's a different sort of thing. I've never really worked with younger kids before, and I've always been in adult football, from a player to coaching to assistant manager. Always been with adults, and it's result based. It's about winning games. Whereas when you're talking about academies and the younger players, it's about development and progression, and it's not so much about winning games. So there's a different dialogue, a different communication style, certainly a different language that you use. You've got to ask them more questions, rather than with the first team. You would tell them if they weren't doing it right. You would tell them, and you would demand that they did it right, because they should know what they're doing. Whereas with the kids, they don't know all the answers. So you've got to be more patient. You've got to ask them the questions, see if they can figure it out for themselves. And it's like I say, it's more about progressing them, about sort of making them better players. Whereas with the first team, really they're there because they know what they're doing. They should be the finished article, if you like. So there's a very, very much a different style. Yeah.